to the Mars Anomaly podcast. I am your host, Ephraim Palermo. This is a series of podcasts discussing Mars and the anomalies of Mars. Adventure into the strange world of Mars and Martian anomalies. That was the theme song of 2001 Space Odyssey. Awesome music. I remember when I saw that movie for the first time, that really had an impact on me. I'm assuming that if you're listening to this, you're interested in what I have to say, about Mars and things in general. I do have a different take on Mars anomalies, for example. I'm more kind of pragmatic. I'm very science fiction minded, but when it comes to looking at things objectively, I tend to be very scientific about that. And I've been billed the show, the NASA Unexplained Files, as an amateur astronomer. And that's what I am. I've considered that really since I was a kid. Anyone that looks up in the sky and starts wondering about the stars, at that point, you're an amateur astronomer. What it is an interest in things about space, about the solar system, about planets. Mars is one of them. One wonders why Mars has that much interest. I've always had an interest in the planets, and it's to me, it's a real thing. I mean, most people don't realize that they're living on a planet. Seriously. Right now, I mean, do you really consider that you're living on a planet? No, you're just going to work, driving your car, going down the street, doing your thing. But see, for me, I'm aware that I'm on a planet. And I'm also aware that on this planet, we're going around the sun, that we're in space. It's a background awareness for me. What makes me an amateur astronomer, I guess. It's just that my interest. But also, I'm trying to be as logical as I can in my studies. And that's why this thing came about with the Phobos Monolith. The way I approached it and investigated it is different than other Martian anomaly hunters. Here's an example. The Martian Sasquatch. And I go back to that only because, the newspapers picks that up. And what they do, I mean, it's some guy, some yokel probably, excuse me if you hear this, the guy who started this rumor about Sasquatch. He said, hey, that's the Sasquatch thing there, right? He's the first one to say it. So that's what they do, right? They're the first one to name something weird. And the name gets attached to it. So his name got attached to that weird thing. But what it does, it gives anomaly hunting, if you want to call it that, a bad name. For example, let's see if I can find this picture and put it up. There was this thing called an airplane, and it looked like this huge airplane right on Mars, right? Just land right in the field there, boom, big old plane, wings, fuselage. Of course, no one considered this thing could be like a half-mile wide, right? But anyway, it's like this plane. Holy shit, so there's buzz going around this plane. There's a plane. There you can see this. And you can almost see the cockpit, and blah, blah, blah. It's very, wait, it's like a landing, you can skid marks, right? Well, me and Mac looked at it, and it's like we kind of got caught up a little bit. Then we looked at it with kind of one eye closed. One of us did. I don't know if he did or I did. But if you look at this thing with one eye closed, instead of something being above the ground, what it was a fucking crevasse, right? A crack in the ground, right? When you look at it, it tricks the eye, right? It looked like something that was round and dimensional. Instead, it was a depression. And that is the big failure with photographic evidence as such. Because you're looking at something one-dimensionally. If you look at something with one eye closed, right, things look kind of different. If you open your eyes with binocular vision, you can see around things. You know, you can make more sense. Okay, this is not some weird thing, right? Which is why the rovers on Mars have binocular vision, so they can see things in scale. Because otherwise, it looks out of scale. So what me and Mac used to do, we should debunk this stuff, right? We should try to find flaws and stuff. Like, dude, there's no way. And the best way to prove or disprove anything is to find an image of the same area or the same artifact at a different time, from a different angle, from a different camera, different resolution, on and on and on. Something can look something one way at 12 o'clock, right, in the afternoon, and then from another angle, at 3 o'clock, with the shadow go there, it looks totally different. Okay, so you gotta have a kind of a roundness, a 3D kind of a viewpoint on these anomalies, right? So we should try to find that. And, I mean, there are a few anomalies that we have. It's on my website, and I should make more noticeable, that despite our own criticism of any kind of data, right, that some of these things creep through that say, well, maybe it's that is something weird. At least something to take a look at, right? That's all we're saying is, like the rovers used to just drive by something. At least that's what it seemed like to us. Drive by something, right? And let's say 2 days later, we get the images, and it's this weird thing. And we go, whoa, wait, back up. Oh, no, sorry. We don't back up, right? Rovers don't go back for shit. So once they go past it, you're going to go, what? How can you pass something that looks so fucking interesting, right? I used to be so upset at these JPL and NASA motherfuckers, excuse me, pardon my language, but it's very upsetting. And you see something that's totally strange, and they just go by it to do something, some mundane science, some geology thing, some agenda. So anyway, that was my frustration with that. So back to the point at hand here, is that I was used to looking at things, at these anomalies things, looking at features of Mars and whatnot, with that kind of viewpoint, that critical eye. How would it look like this? Why can't it look like that? Is there anything weird about it besides, you know, it's like trying to be as objective as possible. One of the satellites took a real close-up of Phobos while I was doing this research in conjunction with my SEEPS paper. When I was looking at the SEEPS of Mars, you know, you can do that some other time. So I was looking at things, and I was like spending hours and hours just looking at images, you know, just doing this study that I was doing. And I was looking at this Phobos thing, and I just kind of glanced at it, and it was a really high-resolution image. Like, if you printed it out, it was like 10 feet. I mean, it's like this huge megapixel thing, right? And they had to put it out in parts, in segments. I mean, it was such a huge file. You know, and no one really wants to look at something that big, right? I mean, it will take forever. But anyway, I was kind of like looking, but something caught my eye at that resolution. In other words, like from that distance. In that area, something, right? That's kind of how it started. And it kind of like zoomed into it. In other words, it's kind of brought it closer and closer. And then that's when I saw it. Let's say in geology terms, you know, let's say you just think of something, you're thinking of rocks, and it's like everything looks fine, right? It's just rock moving. But if you're also looking at something that looks out of place, and you're looking at rocks, it's a little bit different. And that's kind of what happened with me with the Phobos Monolith. There's something out of place. And what I did is like, okay, something looks out of place. And I started doing that same drill I did to others on myself. So I went, all right, am I bullshitting myself? Am I seeing this? Am I seeing that? You know, so I zoom it in, zoom it out, look at it another day, you know, and I look at it, and I say, well, am I making myself think I see something? You know, going through this whole process. In order for me to feel good about either letting it go or looking at it further, is to build a model, like a mock-up of it. Because if I can approximate what I think it is in physical form, and knowing the angle of the sun and the angle of the camera that took the image, these images I'm looking at are NASA's archives. you need to have this program. It's called NASA Viewer. To look, it's like you can do it, and then you have to kind of go into the website, the back door. It's not a back door, but it's kind of like, it's not like a big banner, right? But you get to find every damn image that was ever taken, supposedly, right? Every image of every satellite, right? Especially at that time I was looking at the Mars orbital camera. And what they do is, like, when they publish pictures on the website, you see the picture of the day, right? Well, behind that picture, there could be hundreds, thousands that happen to just pick that. What I was doing, I was looking to every picture. This is kind of crazy. I know. Anyway, back to this thing with the monolith. So when I built the structure, and I did the lighting, and I did this thing, it's like it looked like what I thought it was, which was an upright structure. Is that an anomaly? I don't know. To me, it is. It's kind of strange to have something sticking up. Is it just a big boulder that happens to be shaped like that? It could be. It'd be kind of cool. Put a rover up there, like a Phobos rover, to check it out. Anyway, so that's my thing. And I just want to talk to you a little bit. And also, I just want to say that I'm not like a big talker, right? Like people who do podcasts, some people that are really good talkers, like they talk a lot, right? Toastmaster kind of people, don't know how to converse with people and this kind of thing. I don't. I'm not really that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this to I'm doing this just to kind of inform. Because I'm kind of becoming more public, right? With my Phobos Monolith, my science fiction book is coming out. Has been out, Alien Cartel, and stay tuned for Tides of Retribution. This is the sequel to Alien Cartel. And this is now a 4-book series, the Alien Cartel series. And I have a 5th book waiting in the wings after that. So I have to hurry up and write this because this 5th book is like, man. But anyway, read Alien Cartel, available on Amazon. This is a commercial break. And I guess I'm paying myself. All right. Hey, on Amazon, Alien Cartel by Ephraim Palermo, available. Kindle, book form, and on audiobooks. All right, guys, so I'll continue on with the podcast. Thanks for listening. That intro music was from a local Portland band called Wave Source, and the lead singer there uses what's called a theremin. It's kind of old science fiction musical instruments. You kind of wave your hand in front of an electronic gadget. It's kind of like waving in the air. It's actually pretty cool, and that's the kind of weird sound you hear in the background there. Anyway, so that was Wave Source. And also, I want to give a shout out to one of my fans, Alien Cartel, Mireya Calderon, of Toronto, Canada. She's been thumping the beat out there for Alien Cartel, my science fiction novel, and also helping me get on the air there with the Grimerica show. And anyway, so it's a good fan. I never met her. I have some people like that who read my books and became fans, but thank you. I can use a fan here and there. All righty. And I had some big news just to kind of catch up on things. I finally got on TV. My show aired on the Science Channel's NASA's Unexplained Files. And this was the new season, 2015, episode 1. And the episode is called Life in Hell. And actually that refers to some ice they found on Mercury and, the possibility of life in there. But at the very last segment is a segment called Space Oddity. And there, they get into the Phobos Monolith. So finally, after it's been laying dormant all these years, right, my work on the monolith is finally coming to light. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, to be honest, I was kind of concerned when I went to the interview when I first they flew me down to San Diego from Portland. The production company is WAG TV, and they're based out of London, England. So, yeah, so I met these guys and asked me these questions. I'm trying to, it's my first time doing this. I feel kind of clunky, and so I could not see any previews onto the air, right? So I was like a nervous wreck. I didn't want anybody around me because I was telling people it's going to be on, and then I was worried, maybe that got edited out, they cut me off, it's like I'm going to look kind of goofy. All these things going through my head, right? But anyway, I was impressed with the job they did, and actually they actually made it even more so, made it more a lot more interesting than what it is. Which is, I mean, really, it is most probably just a rock. Okay, that's my just to get this out of the way. Okay, it's a strange rock, right? And that's my thing. And it's like, and why is that strange? Sometimes, if science follows a strangeness or an anomaly, you might come up with something. So that was really my intent on this. Is that I think there's something there. I put this website together, and so many people look at it. They kind of think the same thing. So if NASA can re-image that, that would be awesome, right? That's my goal. As an amateur astronomer, if I find something somewhere, if anyone finds something, and NASA can kind of tweak their attention in that area, hey, my tax dollar is at work. So anyway, so that's kind of cool. But I did have this idea. There's a movie, I think it's called Meteor or Comet, one of those, where this amateur astronomer, right, is looking through a telescope and he discovers a comet. And they name it after him. He's all famous and everything, right? But it turns out that the comet is headed towards Earth. Now he's like, his name is shit, right? Oh, man, I wish I never put my name on it. So I was thinking, what if this Phobos Monolith, right, turns out to be something like, like maybe something from the Space Odyssey monolith, but maybe like in a negative. Could be like an alien signal for an invasion, right? And it's like, God damn, that Palermo, man, if he wouldn't have found it, it would have been okay. So anyway, that's conjecture. All right, hey, and finally, I got Eric Losh is going to be talking with me today. Old friend of mine. I met him a long time ago online in the Cydonia E group. And then we used to banter back and forth and kind of go over Martian anomalies. And, that's why I got my feet wet and looking at those images and talking with other people. And, And so anyway, it's pretty good. So Eric stayed a friend all this time. And he lives over here in Seattle. I'm in Portland. Anyway, so he drove down and we talked a little bit. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
I'm talking about the essence of who you are. Who you are is not your body. Who you are is not your mind. Who you are is a star that shines.
Oh, usually I'd sing a sad song. Think about the things that I'd done wrong. It used to be I'd go for days without a smile, reminiscing all the while. Somewhere along the line I lost me. I was struggling with my identity, 'cause that was who I was and who I was supposed to be, so that someone would love me. And maybe your heart's been broken more than mine is falling apart. If that's true, let me ask you to not believe that's who you are. You're a star, and we are all a part of all that is. One with all creation and the one who created it. And if we could only just conceive who we really are, you'd see that we're stars. You're a star that shines.
We're back and welcome to the Mars Anomaly podcast. Finally, I have with me Eric Losh, which I think, what, how to say it?
Lausch.
Lausch. You see, I knew I screwed up.
I've known you for 20 years. Still can't pronounce my name.
Well, the thing is, I never call you by your last name.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. And I asked him, I said, how come, what is that from? He said, German. Okay, now, I'm Puerto Rican. You know, we can't say consonants. It's like, do your German stuff. It's got too much.
I was engaged to a Puerto Rican girl for 4 years.
All right. Did she say your last name good?
I know all the cuss words in Spanish.
Oh, okay. Was she able to say your last name easily?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll say, all right. Good for her.
Not a problem.
All right. Anyway, so Eric Large, finally, I've been trying to get you on, and we actually met online first, not in person, but we met an e-group called Cydonia at Yahoo Groups. So we're together with Mac Tonys and a bunch of guys that kind of came and went to the...
Oh, yeah, David Jinks,
Yeah.
Keith Laney.
The group was actually made to investigate images of the face of Mars in the Cydonia region as popularized by Richard Hoagland. I started investigating the images from the Mars rovers that came out. And one of the first ones I remember was the Mars bunny. Remember that? That was kind of like the little fluff thing that people thought was a bunny hopping around on Mars.
Vaguely, it was a piece of insulation or something on the lens.
Exactly. No, it wasn't on the lens, it was actually on the surface.
Oh.
It flew away from the landing. But it was a little tiny thing, but actually it was real tiny, right? It's like, once you realize the scale of it, it's kind of ludicrous. It was one of the first times, I think, that the public that were interested in Mars anomalies or looking for things on Mars were trying to convince NASA, like, hey, can you take another look at this or tell us what it is? Because there was enough interest in it that Steve Squires, who was in charge of the rover program at the time, and actually still is, eventually made mention of it and found out that, yeah, it was a piece of insulation.
It's fascinating stuff.
Oh, yeah.
How did you get interested in Mars anomalies?
Actually, that's a good question because that's something that I would ask people like yourself. Anybody would ask you, like, how did people get interested in Mars? Because there was a big interest, and I had actually since I was a kid.
People have always been interested.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Mars.
I used to get these. I don't know if you remember the bubble gum packages, the flat pieces of gum, flat piece of gum, and it had like these cards in it, like pictures. Anyway, so one of them was a series of Martians that were found at the Roswell crash site, right? And this thing, and that's what they said, right? So as a kid, you know, kind of like yeah. So as a kid, I saw that. To me, it was very real. I thought it was an actual picture of aliens from Mars. So I've been interested in Mars and science and space. And, you know, one time I wanted to be an astronomer, and I actually looked at what that required. It was like more math than it was anything else. So it's like, not that I was afraid of math.
What's wrong with math? Yeah.
Well, exactly. I'm not afraid of math, but I kind of just took the magic out of it, you know, because I was looking at astronomy as more of a...
The math is where the proof is in it.
Yeah, but sometimes you can get fooled by numbers, you know, and that's the thing that...
No, the numbers don't lie.
Well, the numbers don't lie, but if you arrange the numbers in a certain way, then...
Oh, but sure, if you manipulate the data.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, it was a weird thing how you got tied in with the mega dolphins. What is that? What is mega dolphins on Mars? People want to know.
Well, okay. I love Star Trek.
Okay.
Live long and prosper, and rest in peace, Mr.
Yes,
Nimoy.
Sir. Yes, sir. Amen.
Interested in all things outer space.
All right. How did that tie into this mega dolphin thing?
When I first got interested in Mars Anomaly, because we were doing a tooling job at work that was to make the glue spreaders for what was called the Mars 96 probe. And it attached the solar panels to the arms or struts that come out from the satellite. It was really a long-running job. So I put a whiteboard out front because everybody came and bugged me all the time about when is this going to be done. And I put the Mars 96 probe job from hell on it. And they've been up there for a couple of weeks. And this guy came over and he says, you know, there's cities on Mars. Started looking around for the phone like, should I call security or what? So anyway, I ended up getting to know the fellow. And about 3 weeks later, I was down at the Seattle Center watching Richard Hoagland lecture on, I think it was the moon at that time, moon anomalies, the shard and all that kind of stuff. And Saw a guy there that I ended up becoming friends with later. His name was Dave Jenks. Didn't speak to him that day or anything like that. Spoke briefly with Mr. Hoagland. I like him.
Yeah, sure. I like him too.
And I think he's done a lot to keep these kind of issues in the forefront.
Oh, totally, totally. He's a giant in terms of the mythology of Mars, the face of him, and the theories, you know, that he's proposed. And
no, he's actually not that big. Shorter than me.
So did that spark something in you then when you saw the lecture? You kind of got involved in the genre, right, of Martian anomalies, right?
After I go to see Hoagland lecture down there, I first heard of Hoagland, and the guy the cities on Mars guy, he had Coast to Coast on cassette. Right. He would tape them, and he'd bring him into work.
Oh, really?
And he'd put him in his cassette player and play. Listen to this guy, Richard Hoagland.
Oh, so that's how you got.
I'm going, oh, based on Mars, very interesting.
Right.
And then I went and saw the moon stuff, and some of it was pretty compelling. There was a student from UW who'd done a bunch of imaging work that was in Seattle, of course. Mm-hmm. Was initially introduced to you and Land Fleming and Keith Laney and Chris Joseph and Al Riode and.
Yeah, because we used to investigate.
It was a very measured.
Yeah, because we used to investigate any Martian anomalies that came about. I mean, anything, right? Anything was grist to the mill. Well,
people posted them and said, "Hey, man, is that a rat?" You know.
Oh, the bunny one.
I said, "Well, it looks like a rat." Oh no, there's. Come on, you've seen the rats and the iguanas and the skull.
Well, you know the one, the recent one with the Sasquatch one. Did you see that one? It was like
the little Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Well, that's some people call that a Sasquatch.
No, that's what I'm saying. Well, I'm saying whatever it is, it's just a bunch of rocks. It's
about
piled
the
together.
size of an action figure.
I know.
Okay.
I know. So, and I think that stuff like that gives anomaly hunting a bad name. Because obviously it's
I don't think so. I mean,
you don't think so?
I think they're definitely small.
Did someone say that's a Sasquatch?
Artifacts.
Did someone say that's a Sasquatch?
What to say it's a Sasquatch is subjective.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what gives anomaly hunting
I've
a
heard it
bad
called
name.
Statue on Mars and all
Okay, but how you name it, right, is going to give the perception.
Well, you know.
And what it is that a lot of these anomaly hunters put their own perceptions on things and try to convince people to see it the way they see it. And hello, I don't see it like that. Some of the stuff
isn't that exactly what you did when you saw dark stains coming onto the surface of Mars? You took an intuitive leap and said, "Oh, that's water coming out there." And then these researchers that are writing peer-reviewed papers about them right now, when you talked about it back in the late 1990s at the Mars Society and at the Museum of Flight in Seattle and places like that, they just had to collect the data, crunch the numbers, collate the numbers, you know, double check their math, put the paper together, have it peer-reviewed, stuff like that. You took an intuitive leap and said, "Oh, that's water."
Good evening, how are you? It's been a while since I've seen this place. It's raining, it's falling, but the birds still sing anyway. 'Cause even if it's cold outside, I can see the breath of life. 'Cause even if I break, you're always there to pick up the pieces I left over there. It seems that every time you call my name, I run away, Lord save me.
You keep asking about the mega dolphin. I will say, and this is what I put in the original one-page web page that I made. They had the picture that so Hoagland posted the image of the glass tunnels or tubes on Mars on his website. It was a very unusual picture.
Mm-hmm.
He had a couple crops that had been blown up. I don't remember the number of pixels. So many pixels, meters per pixel. I think it was probably 3 or 4 meters per pixel. On Hogan's website, I looked at the crop. The shiny spot was what, made it stick out. It was like Ceres, right? The Dawn probe, the Rosetta mission, whatever, is approaching Ceres now, and they've had the two, two lights. They're going, well, it's ice.
Right.
It's an ice volcano. I don't know, maybe it's a big domed alien city. We don't know until we go there, which is why we should go to Mars.
That's right.
And so it's a shiny spot, and I looked at it, and I'm going like, holy crap, there's a dolphin in there.
Right.
And so a friend of mine was the manager in graphics at the Kite Factory, and I said, hey, look at this. Can you print me this out in a nice glossy? So he gave me an 8.5 by 11 piece paper with a good printer up there that printed that picture out, and I carried it around the Kite Factory for
What do you say, cake?
weeks.
Cake?
Cake.
Like C-A-K-E? Like the
Kite.
eat? Kate?
Kite.
Kite?
Kite.
K-I-
Kites fly in the sky.
Oh, kite factory.
I work at a kite factory.
Oh, that makes kites.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I do you saying cake.
Yes, they make big kites. Really big ones.
See, that's how we say cake in New York. Cake.
You say kite?
All right, cool. So the kite factory.
Kite factory, they build things that
Okay, I get it.
fly
I get
in
it.
the sky.
So people were looking at that picture. What were they saying?
I showed that thing to everybody. I showed it to PhD engineers, metallurgists, machinists, clerks, 60-year-old ladies that didn't know anything about Mars. I'd say, look at this picture. What do you see? She said, well, there's a dolphin right there. I probably spent 2.5, 3 weeks walking around just doing my job and whatever.
Right.
And people I would encounter, I'd say, look at this picture. What do you see?
Mm.
And it was that crop off of Hogan's website. And invariably, they'd see, like, there's a dolphin right there.
Well, that's actually a good way to do it because what other people do is they draw a picture on something and then tell you what you think you see, right?
Exactly.
But the way you're doing it is the way to do it. It's to get unanimous opinions, I
just took that crop of the shiny spot.
Right.
It was printed out on nice photographic paper, and I showed it to probably, I'll say I showed that to 300 people.
Really?
What do you see there? I didn't even know what the word pareidolia meant at that time.
Right. Which is? Just
the innate capacity of humans to see faces and everything, according to some people.
Right, in clouds.
Or, drag it in the clouds.
Right. Right. A giant glass tube with something floating through it, like a dolphin. So what would you say, according to the pixel size, resolution, what would you say the size of dolphins in terms of length? 4
or 6 meters per pixel, something like that. Because you realize this isn't a real dolphin.
No, I know. Yeah, no, I want to say just in conjecture.
Tom Van Flandern had a theory that former chief of the Celestial Mechanics branch of the U.S. Naval Observatory had a theory that Mars was a giant amusement park.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It seems to fit quite well in that because there were a couple of additional images taken of it. One because we forced them to take it. There's been one more additional image taken with the high rise, and I have only seen one band of it. The blue band. And I don't know a lot about high rise. I'm not a high rise imaging expert. A little research could probably tell you, but if there's a JPEG.B, there's probably a JPEG.A and C, and they all come together to make the full. So do you think that? Set.
So does the re-imaging dispute the original idea of it? You think? Does it show it more clearly that it is or isn't a dolphin or glass tube?
The shiny spot is still there.
So what's this? How would you describe the shiny spot for someone that's not looking at the picture? I mean, what are you seeing?
Well, for anybody who's looked at the internet in the last 2 weeks, when they saw a shiny spot on Ceres, as the asteroid mission approaches it,
well, how would you describe it?
It looks like a little spot and it's shiny.
Okay, on what? Like on a tube? On a pipe?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so like a reflection that you would see like on a glass tube, like on one spot.
It's not a reflection. The three, it was all covered in those.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
I laid out all the parameters and everything per NASA's numbers.
And what's the website?
Well, if you go to Google and you put Lowell's legacy as Percival Lowell,
Right.
The astronomer from 120 years ago, it comes right up. It's first thing you see on Google.
All right. Hey, so thanks for coming over. Eric's actually at my house. He's a friend of mine. Is visiting from Seattle.
It's great to be here in the beautiful Rose Quarter of Portland.
All right.
Although I was a little leery about coming to Portland because we're big Grimm fans.
Oh.
If you don't watch Grimm on NBC, you should. It's well written, humorous, and entertaining, and action packed. And they film it here in Portland.
No, we don't have vampires here. And was it animals like?
These are Vessons. Yes. So if you ever watch Grimm, they're filming it right around here. You may see me in a cameo on it.
All right. I'm sure we got a lot more to talk about. We can keep going, and thanks for coming over. All right, that was my interview with Eric Losh. The bumper music I had in the middle there was from Dave Perez, who I met at the Paradigm Symposium, the 2014 Symposium in Minnesota. Real cool guy, good music, and we had a good time listening to him play. Alrighty, and the other music selection was from a band called Sawtell. That's Sawtell, Sawtell. A local band here in Portland. Actually, I met the guy doing work at his house. Gave him my book, and he gave me his CD, and I liked his music. For those of you who are listening to this as a podcast, I'm also going to put it out on YouTube with a lot more images. So take a look for that. All right, guys, thanks for listening, and if you want to listen to some more, email me, Ephraim, that's EFRAIN, at PalermoProject.com. Like me on iTunes or however you want to do it. All right, to the next one. Bye.